If you're an official in an all-important World Cup match, the worst thing that can happen is if you make a massive howling error. And a shock was in store for experienced Italian referee Roberto Rossetti and his assistant Stefano Airoldi, who were officiating a last 16 match between Argentina and Mexico.
Messi through, Tevez off after it, good goalkeeping, but Messi, Tevez, 1-0. Mexico look for offside, it's not given.
The Tevez goal against Mexico was extraordinary. He was practically back in Argentina when he scored it.
Well, as that ball's played forward by Messi, Tevez is in offside position.
And even if you don't understand the offside rule, I think it still looks odd.
It was a shocking decision, but unfortunately things were about to get even more shocking.
Oh my God, they've shown the replay.
Just glanced up at the screen, and obviously they never show contentious issues in the stadium. Otherwise, it can cause a riot. And it just showed the replay.
Why not provoke a riot? I mean, a way to provoke a riot. I mean, why not show the Argentinian men abusing Mexican mothers?
And all the players were standing there watching the giant screen inside the stadium, and then ran across to the assistant. They're arguing across the far side now. Oh, they're talking about...
Oh, my goodness, look at this.
The Mexicans, very rightly, said to Rossetti, have a look, have a look. And Rossetti kind of peers at it from the corner of his eye.
And then you see the assistant put his hand in his mouth like this. He's obviously saying to the referee, oh, I've got this wrong.
They even caught the ref going...
When you know you're wrong and you just want the ground to open up and swallow you, horrible. The look on his face told you all you needed to know. He knew at that moment that was the end of his World Cup.
The assistant across the far side has seen the mistake.
Yeah,
the Argentinian play, yes. They don't usually play the replay like that. He's made a mistake, he knows it, Steve.
The World Cup had seen mistakes before, but never had they been broadcast to the entire stadium immediately afterwards. Now the players, fans, coaches and officials knew it wasn't a goal, but it had to stand.
Laws of the game wouldn't allow the referee to reconsider based on a video. He wanted to, it looked that way, didn't it? But he's not allowed to, and rightly, he stuck with his decision, but that must have been tough.
Yeah, who on earth would want video replays? It was a laughable situation, but the Mexicans couldn't see the funny side as they came off for half-time.
And there are now scuffles with the Argentine bench, and Roberto Rossetti, the Italian referee, has to intervene here because the Mexicans are deeply cross about what happened around the first goal.
Mexico couldn't fight back on the pitch and were dumped out of the competition. The following day, Rossetti was left off the list to referee another match and promptly retired. The linesman who actually made the mistake just kept his head down.
The one thing you can guarantee after this game, whoever's in charge of replays won't be working again.
An army of England fans descended upon South Africa to cheer the team on to World Cup glory. But having frittered away their life savings, they were subjected to tame draws against the USA and Algeria, and the cheers became jeers. One of these fans, though, was about to personally let the players know how he felt by infiltrating the sacred inner sanctum of England's dressing room.
Every English fan wanted to know what was going on. It took a brave soul to make that journey and find out for himself.
And to do it, he dodged about 5 or 6 security people. And I thought, this is amazing. This guy actually got past more men in the World Cup than any England player. It was genius.
It was a move worthy of MacGyver, a mission impossible. But who was this mysterious real-life James Bond?
My name's Pavlos, and I'm looking for a toilet.
Yes, he just needed a tinkle.
Trying to look for the loo, he's got to the England dressing room. How does that work?
At the end of the match, I started looking for a toilet and was directed by one of the officials up a tunnel. Carried on walking and I ended up in the dressing room. David Beckham's literally directly opposite me. And I said, David, I've spent a lot of money getting out here. That was a disgrace. What are you going to do about it?
It's a brave thing to do, chucking yourself into the lion's den when they're all probably pretty angry.
And I did hear someone say, sorry, who are you? At that point, I said, I'm Pavlos and I'm looking for a toilet. As casually as that, and off I went.
Pavlos was arrested and faced jail for trespassing, but he got away with just a £65 fine.
My name is Pavlos, and I am looking for the toilets. If you walked in and Pavlos was in your room, in your marital bed, having sex with your wife, and he turned to you and he said, "I'm sorry, I am Pavlos, and I was just looking for the toilet," you'd be like, "I forgive you, I'll sit in a corner and watch."
Be well for 45 minutes, but you've got to be...
For some, the World Cup is as much about the pundits as the football. One of the new boys was Man City's Emmanuel Adebayor.
I could have listened to him all night. He just has one of those voices that, as a woman, he just melts you.
Yeah, all right, Lindsay. But despite the dreamy voice, Adebayor was about to make a shocking schoolboy error.
He has to be the mass of the team, and he's doing that quite well. So.
Is that you, is it?
Adebayor's face, comical timing. I think he could get a career in stand-up. She's there, just like... And you could see Alan Shearer going, "What's going on here?"
It's more or less rule number one if you're going into a TV studio, that you turn your phone off.
But even more shocking was who was on the other end.
To answer that, it's not Samuel Eto'o, is it? Or Roger Miller.
Maybe Lindsay wanting some pillow talk. Nope. Later, Emmanuel revealed the truth.
I was waiting for my wife to call me and tell me the baby is dead, and you know, that phone call was about my baby.
And he pressed end as well.
Yep, his wife called to say she'd just given birth to a baby girl, and like a true gent, he just hung up.
To become a dad live on television, I think is brilliant. I know a number of women who don't think that's brilliant.
Still, at least it's amused his fellow pundit.
That's probably the most excited or happy I've ever seen Alan Shearer.
Shearer was laughing at him, you know, and that's just footballer coming out, and you know, it's like, well, thank God it's not me.
Hansen always says, like, you know, if you fail to prepare to fail.
Yeah, you'd never catch Hansen making the same mistake.
I think that's my phone that's gone.
It was England's most shocking moment in the World Cup.
And Ozil's found him!
They'd just gone 4-1 down against Germany with 20 minutes left to play. England were about to make a sub. One last desperate chance to rescue our summer. But there was hope. We had a saviour on the bench. We had a man who'd scored 21 goals in 40 games for England. The stage was set, and then came the moment. The big man, Crouch. Heskey? What?
We need a goal. We bring Emil Heskey on and take Jermaine Defoe off.
I don't really know why Peter Crouch is left on the bench so many times. He's been so good scoring goals for England.
Peter Crouch's goal-to-game record is 50-50, you know? Better probably than anybody else who plays for England.
In one of the most shocking moments of England's tournament, on-trundled Emil Heskey. Fabio Capello had put the hopes of the nation on the shoulders of a man who'd only scored 5 all season. England needed 3 goals in 20 minutes.
Why? Exactly. When you have the last roll of the dice, the person you want to bring on is not Heskey. Comedically, the only good substitution is Crouch and Defoe. You've got to send them on at the same time. Doesn't matter about the football, because we'll all have a laugh.
Every World Cup throws up something that baffles even Stephen Hawking. This time around, it was an unbelievable howler by Nigeria's Yakubu Aiyegbeni.
I'm speechless.
It was unreal.
It is that bad.
With the Super Eagles 2-1 down to South Korea in a match they had to win to avoid expulsion, he was provided with a surefire goal on a plate. And then this happened.
On the overlap here from Aina. Oh, it was an easy chance, and how on earth has that not gone into the back of the net from Yakubu?
You're unbelievable. Yakubu's miss has to be the worst miss in a World Cup finals tournament ever.
It's virtually unmissable. It just needs putting into the back of the net. You know, you'd expect a 10-year-old to do it.
Yeah. Simply staggering.
All he has to do is stick his foot out and poke it in.
Miss of the World Cup.
It was one of those, you know, when people say, oh, my gran could have scored that.
My grandma could have scored that.
No, my gran actually could have scored that, and she's no longer with us. That's how easy that shot was.
The game finished 2-2. Nigeria crashed out of the World Cup, and the miss now surely ranks as the most shocking in World Cup history.
Oh, dear.
Narrowly edging out a previous favourite from 1994.
Yakubu's job is to score goals, Diana Ross's job is to sing.
You're unbelievable.